I have read with keen interest the developments and happenings in our nation as regards to the issue of statements made by IPOB and subsequent reaction by the Arewa youth and many people calling for support of one form or the other on this very particular statement. Well, I had wished that I never speak on this matter, and I never made any comment or any categorical comment, as most of my comments may be misconstrued, misrepresented, or misinterpreted. But let me therefore say to all of us here that the situation at hand is more serious to follow the convention that smart politicians must never speak on controversial issues. Therefore, I make bold to speak this afternoon and to address the people of this nation, particularly my people, the Igbos, and by extension, the Arewa people, the Hausas, on this very critical matter, if only to serve this nation and so to save the lives of our generations yet unborn. You may all recall that the issue of IPOD and Masol in the recent past has making headlines on our various media houses and especially the social media, with many people giving different interpretation to the reasons behind the IPOD and Masol. To some people, it is a group of some radical Igbo youths, young men and women who are calling for the sovereignty of the Biafran nation. And while to some other people, it is an agitation basically for personal recognition and personal aggrandizement for purpose of getting either political or personal patronage. And some other people, it is an imitation of what has happened in other geopolitical zones in agitation and just to get power at the center or to form the government at the center as it's assumed to be the practices in the past. You may recall that most people believe that the Southwest became president of Federal Republic of Nigeria because of the agitation by the Duduwa group and the Yorubas over June 12. And that brought President Obasanjo as the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Federal Republic of Nigeria. And some people argue that President Goodluck Jonathan came in as the president because of the agitation by the Niger Delta youth for issues of marginalization and control and resource control. And of recent, most of people also believe that President Muhammad Buhari came in as president because of the agitation by the Boko Haram in the recent past. But let me say to you, even while that was going on, some of us, myself particularly, was accused of becoming Boko Haram because of my support for President Buhari's election. But that has been the speculations that has run our country and ruined our country in the time past. But let me also mention that for whatever is the reason for this agitation by different groups, whether right or wrong, I feel it is an event that has done this nation no good. But if you may recall, only a few months ago, I had pleaded and made requests for the release of Ndigbo from the prison, making excuses for him and his group as youthful exuberance, and I stated that further keeping him in prison will command for him unwarranted followership and popularity. And shortly after that, followed by the comment by the Southeast Governors Forum, Ndigbo was released. Only again to hear about this very controversial statement, and which was made last by the sit-at-home order by the IPOB. But let me correct also the impression that most people believe that the Southeast supported the sit-at-home order by IPOB. It is not true. What happened, and these are two factors that contributed to why it looks like there's a seemingly response for the sit-at-home order. One is that the sit-at-home order by IPOB came shortly a day after Democracy Day. And our people in their natural characteristics and behavior will want to enjoy holidays as much as they can be extended. Being the fact that this came on the 30th made it then apparent that people would have loved to continue with that same holidays, and hence it looks like everybody enjoyed the sit-at-home order. And secondly, the traders had fear all over the country of not hoodlums taking advantage of the moment to destroy their goods and property. So it is not true that the sit-at-home order was purposely obeyed as a mark of support for IPOD. Those who sat at home was not as a support for IPOD, but either fear of being molested or also use that as excuse to enjoy some extension of holidays. As all this may, let me correct also and present an Igbo man in a practical manner. An Igbo man is a peace-loving Nigerian who is found in all nooks and crannies of this nation. In fact, there's no place you go without finding an Igbo man, either building the bridges of friendship or cultivating brotherhood as they go. And wherever you find them, they are developing the land, contributing immensely to the political and economic development of those areas. I dare say that if you ask me who indeed is a practical and true Nigerian, an Igbo man stands out in this regard, because they are the only ones you can find in all nooks and crannies of this society. And they suffer the pains of the people and the joy of the people of wherever they are all found. But of recent, the impression given is that an Igbo man is a man that enjoys violence. Let me again put this succinctly clear that an Igbo man is not a troublesome man, and an Igbo man is not a man associated with violence. All he wants is to enjoy his commerce and do his trading and to feed himself and his families. But of recent, the happenings now tends to point out that an Igbo man who traveled 1,000 kilometers away from his home has gone there to look for trouble. This is not true. And again, let me inform all Nigerians that Igbos will remain peace-loving people and good Nigerians wherever we find. And if there's any group of people who have led their life and shed more blood for the unity of this country, that person is an Igbo man. So I want to dissociate Igbos from having this picture of troublesome or people seeking for trouble where it is not necessary. Therefore, at this mature time, let me again remind all Nigerians that the Igbos are the people that develop Lagos and major cities in this country. But so Igbos have made more investment in other parts of this country than anyone else making an investment in Igbo land. I dare say there's no any meaningful investment by any ethnic group in this part of the world like the Igbos have shown in other parts of this country. Therefore, I think the statement by IPOD and subsequent statement by the Arewa group is nonsensical, is ill-informed, and it is not for the best interest of Ndigbo. Neither is it for the best interest of Nigerians. So I condemn its entirety, the statement of the IPOD and the reactions by the Arewa group. This group of people who have made this statement, both west from the north and from the southeast, are people who may not have seen the effect of the civil war when Nigeria went into civil war. Therefore, I call every Igbo person to saturate themselves, and every northerner and every well-meaning Nigerian to saturate themselves from these comments accredited to this Arewa group and the Igbo group. Again, let me call for caution that for those of them also who are calling for support for IPOD, especially the non-Igbos who are continually calling for support, I want them to stop henceforth, because we don't need such support for now. Because I do know that when the chips are down, there will not be anywhere to be found. I think it is deceitful and inciting, and this is no longer a welcome development in this part of the world. Let me also caution all those our brothers and sisters who live abroad, the people I call the social media gurus who never visit home, and who enjoy the drums of war, and who enjoy all the sentiments created in social media, to desist from doing that henceforth. Because I do know they may not understand the consequences of their writings and the consequences of what they are doing from abroad and from that perspective. And let them also pause for a while and think, if finally this music or this drum for war is dance, would that not keep the Igbos in island of isolation of ignorance and poverty? That we do not need. Igbos are major stakeholders in the entity called the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We fought for the unity of this country and have acquired unity. We cannot be counted out from the affairs of this nation. But let me again, while I blame the Arewa youths, who may have acted under the provocation and who are taking the matter beyond scope, the statements made by them was rather very inciting and can create disaffection between the North and the Southeast. For purpose of those who have forgotten history, the Southeast and the North have for a long time enjoyed wonderful political relationship, especially in the days of Shagari. We have been seen as allies and partners politically, except for this last dispensation, when for some myopic reasons the Igbo leaders did not see the victory of Buhari coming and will miss the link. Therefore, I call for immediate refixing and repair of this broken political bridge between the North and the Southeast, who have enjoyed wonderful political relationship in the time past. If all things being equal, and without the intervention of the military, I'm sure the Igbos would have gotten their heart desire in the politics of Federal Republic of Nigeria. But at this time, I want to call on all leaders of Nigeria to speak out and condemn this act, because keeping silence anymore cannot help this matter. And us, thinking that we can benefit from this crisis, is rather a disappointment. And I pray that leaders ought to take responsibilities now and teach our youth the right thing to do. The people involved in this matter are our children, they are our youths. We gave birth to them, and they have a duty to listen to us as their parents. It is apparent that we have failed as leaders in this nation, and which has given room for this hate in families, hate in communities, hate in states, hate in national level, hate in companies. We need to take responsibility as leaders to stop this campaign of hate and this hatred for one and each other, because that will not do us any good. I was abroad sometimes, and I saw China and Koreans of yesterday, who were underrated by Nigerians, developing the resources of our land. But here in Nigeria, we're still talking about which religious group and which tribe is speaking. It's a shame. My heart bleeds. I was in Dubai. I saw development taking place. I saw young men running to factories, developing the resources of their land, any foreign exchange. And here we're still talking about comments by IPOP, comments by Arewa youth. And that's the only thing that can keep this nation busy. It's a proper shame. My heart bleeds. I went just to Tanzania of recent and South Africa. I see tourism flourishing in those lands, while in my own country we're still talking about Boko Haram and kidnapping. What a shame. My heart bleeds. I've been around the whole world. I see progress everywhere. I see development everywhere. And African nations are waiting for Nigeria to rise and take its rightful place as leaders of Africa. All we can give to African nations is to talk about which section will produce the presidency of Federal Republic of Nigeria and which zone shall produce the governor of a state. My heart bleeds. What a shame. It is this shameful for this generation, and may we never be found as a failed generation, God forbid. And we must never transfer this failure to the subsequent generation. We must rise up to our responsibilities and face the crucial moment and ugly situation which our condition has pointed out to us. We must make a rethink as leaders. We must change our ways, because it's obvious that the inherent hatred, division, which we got from the colonial masters, transferred to subsequent generation, has not helped us. We must sing a new song of unity in this nation and see ourselves as brothers and sisters of one nation. I call on my Igbo brothers, the agitators, because there was nothing wrong even doing what others are doing, but your style is what is wrong. You cannot be calling for a sovereign nation within a nation. That is absolutely wrong. If you must seek for a name to call yourself as agitators, and if you must agitate, I suggest and propose that you agitate for MOESIP, that is MOESIP, Movement for Economic Survival of Ndigbo. That will make sense to develop the resources of our land and making agriculture the mainstay of our economy. Only when this happens can we command the respect from the rest of the world. The nation will not clap us, applaud for us for drumming the songs of war, which that is an old fashion. If that has been done in the past, it does not befit the new generation. We must change our ways and change our style. I feel very, very sad. I feel very, very bad that this nation that we have all toiled for, some miscreants would want to take undue advantage for some political reasons and mess up the system. And for those of you who support these youths, must desist, because we're not telling them the best. We care for them, because as I stand now as a sitting governor, what IPOB would have wanted is for Rochas Okoroch to speak with voice and say, let's go to war. But if I do that, it means I hate you. I do not care. But because I care for you, I tell you what is the best for you as a people. We must change our style. We must change our bait. And for the Igbo nation, I don't want to sound like a Pontius Pilate, and I don't want to be found making a judgment. But there's need for us to rethink on how we can move our economy forward, or not how we can create enemies for ourselves. I understand that we are being misunderstood. Why are you misunderstood as Igbos? The problem is that you deal even better with non-Igbos than you relate with your brothers. I wish the Northerners would understand that an Igbo man is the worst enemy of a fellow Igbo man, but a better friend of the North. That people do not know about us. We don't even unite. Our problem is unity. But let's not extend this hatred within ourselves, outside, to be hated by others. We must stop, and that's the right way to go. And I want to appeal to all Igbos at this moment that my heart is bleeding, that will make a rethink, and do not join others in singing the song or vision of this country. We need Nigeria more than Nigeria needs us now. And this is not the time for Igbos to sing an alternative song of war. I want to appeal that the use of our nation. I understand your frustration, and believe me, I do as a person. If no one sees your frustration, I see that what will be bequeathed to you as leaders is a generation of hate, poverty, and lack. But if you must fight, and if you must blame, please blame not yourself. Because I wish the use of Igbos will visit some part of the North. You'll come back crying. Rather than fighting them, you sympathize with them. Their situation are not even better. Their situation is not even better than your situation. You rather sympathize with them. I've seen poverty in its practical form. I've seen people not going to school. I've seen the challenge of the moment. Rather than fight them, you should sympathize with them. If there's anybody to blame, blame your leaders. Blame us, your leaders. And we must take responsibility for this your frustration, which has not gone well for either you and our generation. I can see that this hate, we must fight against it as a nation, as a people. We must teach our children the best thing to do and the best way to go. We must unite as a people and begin to sing the song of unity. Of recent, I hear people talking about where the presidency will come from and where the governors will come from. Like I said before, excuse me, visit the states that have produced presidency of this country and the villages. They are more in poverty than even where have not produced president. Visit the zones and villages that have produced governors. They are more in poverty than even the zones that have not produced governor before, or villages that have not produced. So who is deceiving who? I want the youth to unite. I want them to unite for the development of our nation and not unite to fight each other. I call for both unity of northern youth and the southeast youth. And very soon, I'll take that lead and bring them together. Because I happen to see myself as the bridge. Having been born an Igbo man, having been brought up by the North, and having been financially empowered by the West, I have Nigeria as my constituency, and Nigeria remains my constituency. God bless you. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much.